Hey everyone, Technical G here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about my results of upgrading my SSD. I've done so over the weekend. I've bit the bullet, and on Amazon I purchased the Transcend 256 gigabyte M.2 2242 SSD drive to replace the default 128 in my GPD WIN. So I bought it on Amazon. You can see I purchased it June 13th. I received it this past Friday, installed it Saturday, stayed up all night doing so. So remember, I told you had to put it in a fresh Windows OS. You had to reinstall the drivers to make everything work again. And it took forever and a day and a night to do so, but I did it. But this video is to also tell you that let me go back, return that sucker. Why did I return it? Even though I'm expanding my space to put more games in my GPD WIN 2, I've returned it because I discovered something that I didn't foresee that I should have foreseen. I did tell you before that when you replace your SSD drive, you gotta put on a fresh install of Windows OS. If you follow the Fox's video, and I implore that you do, his instructions are really easy. I was able to change out the SSD within 15 minutes. I kid you not. Now, getting the Windows OS from the Microsoft site, that takes a little longer because you gotta prepare a USB drive in order to put on that Windows OS, and that takes a little longer than the 15 minutes of installing the SSD. So the whole process is gonna take you some hours. So set some time aside when you're about to change out your SSD. It's gonna take a minute. So I've done that. Follow the Fox's video. I'll leave a link in the comment section again to his video that shows you step-by-step instructions on how to change the SSD and put a fresh new copy of Windows on the SSD. Works like a charm, I kid you not. The installation of the drivers, that takes a minute. Getting everything set to the configurations that you needed, that's going to take a minute too, because when you do put on the new OS, by default, when you're putting a new OS on here, the screen is going to be in portrait mode. So it's going to be turned this way, not landscape. It's going to be in portrait. And I implore you that when you do put on the new OS or the fresh new installation of Windows, get yourself a wired mouse, a USB wired mouse, because when you do put on the new fresh Windows install, you can navigate through using mouse mode on here, but it's going to be in portrait mode, and so trying to control your mouse using this way, it's going to be kind of confusing. Get yourself a wired USB mouse. You will thank me 200% later when you are doing the SSD upgrade. You can navigate so much faster with this, and to prove to you that it just works, you don't need any drivers. Even with the fresh Windows 10, you don't need drivers. You just plug this baby in. Watch. Look at that. Instantly works. Instantly works. Look how fast that is. Look at that response. Yeah. And it will work when you put in the fresh new Windows. Bluetooth will not work, so you can't put in your Bluetooth controller or your Bluetooth mouse or anything like that. You can once the Bluetooth driver is back in installed onto the GPD WIN after you install your drivers for your GPD WIN 2. So the reason why I decided to take it back, and I am sticking with the default 128, plus I already have a 400 gigabyte micro SD card in here. It's not as fast as the SSD. So I do have PC games installed on the actual drive or the internal storage, and I have retro games on the 400 gigabyte. But I took it back because after I installed the Windows OS onto the new SSD, you know, it was working fine. You know, I had to, you know, switch it from portrait to landscape to get it to look like this. It's just that a lot of the drivers, I mean a ton of the drivers. So your DirectX and your other video drivers, your DLLs, they were not installed, and you have to get those through the Microsoft website. And I mean, you got to get a ton of them in order for a lot of your PC games to work. And some of your emulators, such as your PlayStation 2 emulator, your PCSX 2, that runs on DLLs, certain DLLs. Even the Dolphin emulator runs on some DLLs. And you got to reinstall those bad boys, and it will take you forever and a day to find those. Unless you save them from another install, save them on a hard drive or something, it's going to take you forever and a day. Trust me, it did for me. Plus, I discovered this one thing, like I said, that I kind of should have figured out, but didn't figure out. The updates. Man, when you put in the first new Windows install, you got to go through the updates again. And there are a ton, and I mean a ton of updates for a fresh new Windows. So that's going to take you forever in a couple of days, or forever in a week, or forever in a couple of weeks to get all the updates up to par on your fresh Windows install. That right there was a deal breaker for me to take that SSD out. I'm like, nope, the 128 default gigabyte SSD drive already got everything set. And any updates to the firmware or whatever, or to the OS, GPD will send that. You know, they'll put that on their website or whatnot, so you can update through it that way. But for the most part, this is all you need. And one thing that I kind of discovered too last night, when I paired or connected this through the wireless display adapter, the Microsoft wireless display adapter, onto my Samsung television, it was stuttering. It didn't stutter with the 128 gigabyte default SSD. Didn't stutter at all. When I put in the Transcend one, and like I said, it was all fresh and new, no DLLs and nothing else installed, it was stuttering like you wouldn't believe, and that drove me nuts. That was another deal breaker. I'm like, nope. I put the 128 gigabyte back in. Again, that was made by SanDisk. Put that one back in. Didn't stutter at all. So this is my conclusion. I believe that the company GPD, they optimized and tweaked the Windows 10 OS to be made to be playable and usable very nicely on the GPD WIN 2. If you get just a fresh install of Windows OS or Windows 10 whatnot from the website, put it on here, that is not optimized to be used on the GPD WIN 2. It works, don't get me wrong. Your key will work. It'll be activated, yada, yada, yada. But it is not, and I repeat, not optimized like the Windows 10 that was already put on the default SSD for your GPD WIN 2. For whatever reason, you got all your drivers, everything right here. When I put on my PC games that I have for my Surface Book and put them on here, they work flawlessly. I didn't have to download any driver. Let me say that again. The default SSD has all your drivers, your DLLs, everything you need. So I was able to play Mortal Kombat X. I was able to play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I was playing all my PC games on here from the default SSD. You put in a new one, you got to go through a whole lot of stuff to get your stuff to work. And that right there was a super deal breaker, because I'm not staying up all night. Even though I got the summer off, I got a couple of days of work left. I got July and August off. I'm not spending July and August working on this. So I just said, let me just put the default SSD back in here. Everything works like a charm. Again, the Windows 10, it has been tweaked and optimized for the GPD WIN 2. So GPD, you're doing a fantastic job. I don't know what y'all did as far as tweaking this to work with your GPD WIN 2. I don't think you released it because you don't want anyone to know your secrets. I don't blame you. Just keep up the good work and continue with your updates. And please make your updates smaller. When they do an update, they release the whole OS with the updates in it. They don't just do separate updates. Or just, like an update to the Bluetooth driver. They don't just send you the driver. They send you the whole OS, 9.3 gigabytes. That's crazy. And to install it is a lot different than installing it your conventional way. But like I said, right now, as far as I know, what's on the default SSD works fine. So you can get your PC games up, and I mean all of them, and you can play them with no problem. You'll see videos on that in the future, so I'll put more videos on gameplay. But that is just my word of warning. If you do replace the SSD, just be ready to do a lot of installing of drivers, DirectX, this, that, and the other, just to get this on par. My suggestion, don't do it. Or, there is a way, for what I've read, for you to dump whatever is on your default SSD onto your new SSD. So you can take the Windows 10 that's on the default and put it on your new one. I do not know the process. Do not ask me. I'll do some research and try to put that on in the future video for those who are interested. But that's by far the best method that you can do to keep GPD's Windows 10 on your SSD, because you want that one. That one works better than any other. Trust me on that one. Any other Windows 10 release that you can get for your GPD WIN. Just use GPD's Windows 10. You can't go wrong with that. So that's just my word of advice. Again, I like giving information that nobody else is giving out, because I'm trying it first to let you know how it works. So keep your default one or dump your default information onto a new SSD. And if you do find some information on it, go ahead, leave a comment in the comment section to let other people know. Because like I said, we don't want anybody messing up their GPD Win 2s. These cost too much money for you to mess up. Because if you mess it up, you probably won't get a lot of support from the company GPD, because they probably won't even know what you mess up. So don't mess it up. Spread the news, spread information to everybody, because that's the kind of person that I am. I don't like making videos and just giving tidbits of information. I'm going to give you everything that you need to know so that you can stay tuned to me and know that you can trust me as far as the information that I give you. I'm a teacher. I stand by my word. So please, like I said, spread knowledge about my channel to other people. Subscribe. Give me that thumb in the like section. Tell your friends about my channel. Have them subscribe. Once I hit that 100, I'm going to give away a $20 Amazon gift card to one lucky subscriber. And hopefully that'll be you. And I hope to see you in my next video.